Oh, sorry.
Hello, welcome to the Hairwire. Today it's just Basan and I. We have our friend Sergio. He's unfortunately homesick, so me and Basan are going to take the reins on this one today. And I'm very excited about this topic. Basan, it was her idea to pick the brain of a cosmetologist. Now, those that don't know us, I'm Carrie Jarrett. I'm a cosmetologist and certified trichologist. And we have Basan. Basan, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yes, hi everybody, and welcome to our show today. As we said, we miss our friend Sergio, but hopefully me and Kerry will be enough to answer all your questions. My name is Bisan. If we didn't meet before, I am a trichologist. I'm a functional medicine health coach. I'm a biochemist as well, and I always believe that hair loss can be stopped or reversed using functional medicine modalities, basically working from inside out. And here we are in the Hairwire trying to educate you guys and share our experiences, our cases, and all the questions, answer all the questions that you have. And today I do have a lot of questions for my friend Kerry that I am so excited to hear all the answers from her because she's an amazing cosmetologist. Besides everything else that she does a lot of things. But one of these things is cosmetology, and she is a hair coach. So I want to pick her brain today about this topic, particularly today.
Yeah. So the topic title today, you guys, is how to nurture and care for your hair, for the hair that you have.
Mm-hmm. So my friend Kerry,
you want to do the intro real quick?
Yes, sure. Go ahead, please.
Hello. Okay, so Basan, you start with the first question that you have.
So as a trichologist, I get a lot of questions about cosmetology, about your hairstyles, about what products should I use, about like shampoos and conditioners and all of this stuff. And I feel Kerry is the best one to answer all these questions. So I do have a client, Kerry, that she has a very nice long black hair. It's gorgeous. However, it's very frizzy. It has a lot of breakage in it. And she does a lot of homemade remedies. She puts like mayonnaise and eggs and all this crazy stuff that I salute her for that. But like it's all these crazy stuff that you can look up online and just slam it on your hair, but actually it's not working. So I did send you a picture, Scary, if you want to show our audience what kind of case we're looking at today. And I want to pick your brain of what this lady can do. While she's up picking up the picture, of course, first thing what we do is we deal from the inside. So I am looking at her, fixing her gut or see if there's any nutrient deficiencies or any toxins around her. That is for sure. However, out from the outside, what kind of remedies we can do for this lady, Carrie?
Absolutely. Well, first off, when it comes to nurturing your hair, you want to make sure that you understand if your hair, what it's needing. A lot of times I find a lot of people mix up whether they have dry hair, chemically damaged, or brittle hair, or over mineralized hair. And so it's really understanding that. And a lot of times people do a lot of these home care remedies and over treat the hair, causing more harm to the hair. I've actually had a case like this not too long ago where the client was doing a lot of these home remedies by doing the middies and adding eggs to her hair. But the thing is her hair was already healthy. The only thing is it was dry. And so she was adding treatments to her hair, causing it to be more brittle. And when you add too much protein or keratinization to the hair, it makes it more easy to break and more brittle. Just like, when you paint wood and you put a coat of paint on and on and on, eventually those layers get too thick, it ends up snapping and breaking. You're doing that to the same thing with the high protein. So unless you actually need it, like those treatments are more recommended for people who have actual chemically damaged hair where the actual protein bond has been compromised, that it needs a boost. But when it's dry, it doesn't need that sort of stuff. It needs moisture. And for moisture, it's making sure you're doing treatments that are going to nourish their hair and nourishing it properly. Now, when it comes to nurturing nourishing longer hair, it's making sure that you moisturize it correctly, primarily because you can have an effect from your environment. You can have effect from using too much hot tools and not using heat protection on it. It could be environment, it could be weather, you name it. So you want to make sure you're moisturizing that hair. So when it comes to dry hair, my favorite tool, and I talk about this all the time on the show, is serum. And keep in mind, there are oils for your scalp and oils for your hair specifically, and serum is specifically for your hair. It's hair oil, hair serum, same thing. And you're using that to nourish the ends of the hair. Now, your body produces a natural oil at the root, and by the time that we usually get those oils from our natural scalp to the ends of our hair, we're already washing our hair. So the ends of our hair aren't getting coated or moisturized with that oil. And so you want to make sure that you are, there we go. So when it comes to the oil, you want to make sure that you are putting oil from, say, where the natural oil, once you wash it, would be stripped from the hair. So usually by the time we wash your hair, especially if you go a day or two or even every day, depending on the person, the hair oil, the natural oil of your scalp and your body doesn't have a chance to touch, usually from around between the ears and the shoulders down. So this hair on the end often is not moisturized. And so that's where you're going to use a serum or leave-in conditioner to help moisturize those ends. That moisture is going to help lock in moisture. It's going to help protect the cuticle. And just like, like a tree branch, like if it's not getting enough moisture and it's not being taken care of, eventually those branches are going to be broken and brittle. Your hair does the same thing. And so that's why it's so critical that you're moisturizing those ends. Now, when it comes to using correct conditioners, I find too a lot of people don't know how to use conditioners for their hair, or they don't use conditioners, period, or they don't use the conditioner correctly. When I'm using conditioner, I always make sure I put it in that same area from between the ears and the shoulders down to moisturize the ends of the hair. But on the days where it's dry and I'm starting to get an itchy, dry scalp, I will use it on my roots. Now, a lot of hairdressers, we don't like this, but the thing is your scalp is skin as well. The skin on your scalp is the same skin on your face. And so if your skin on your scalp is not being cleansed or moisturized, you're not producing a good foundation for better hair production. And so if you have oils being produced on your head, it'll have enough time to moisturize it. But if you're trying to, you're in a dry climate, you're not hydrated or whatever it is, and your scalp's really dry and itchy, what you're going to be doing is causing an unsatisfactory place for your hair to grow. And so that conditioner is really good to moisturize that scalp. And there's a difference between dandruff and dry scalp. I find a lot of people see dry, flaky scalp and they're like, oh, I have dandruff. No, it's very important to understand the difference between dry scalp and dandruff. So we're talking right now today about dry scalp. If you want to learn more about dandruff, we have previous videos we posted specifically on the topic of dandruff. So go to our YouTube channel, search those. But today I really want to talk about dry scalp. Now, with the dry scalp, if you find that you're putting hand lotion on more than you typically would, the chances are your scalp is needing that moisture as well. So that's why I will put the conditioner from roots to end. But that's not going to balance out the porosity of the hair or the moisture in the hair. And so that's where I will add in a mask or a heavier conditioner. And that mask, I'll put it on the spots where I normally every day will put my conditioner. So every day I'll put my conditioner between my shoulders and my ears down. But the day that if I put conditioner on my scalp all over to help with my dry scalp, that's when I'll put the mask between my ears and shoulders down, just to balance out the porosity. The whole point of conditioner is help to balance the porosity of the hair and also to help with detangling. And then when I get out of the shower, I'll use my serum. Now, the importance of the serum also helps with drying the hair more evenly, moisturizing it, causing it to be less broken and brittle. It has a whole bunch of benefits using the serum. Now, water and oil do not mix. And so having that oil and the serum on the ends of your hair to push out that water is also going to help your hair dry more fast, more even. And also a lot of us have water with high chemicals in them. I know I'm in Alberta and Basan is in Florida, where there is hard water where you
Very
are,
good. Mm-hmm.
this oil will help to push a lot of the oil so it doesn't have, those minerals don't have time to sit in the cuticle and compromise the hair, making it more brittle and coarser. So that's why you want to do it. And serum you want to do every time you get out of the shower. Myself, as soon as I get out of the shower, I will towel dry my hair, put a dollop of serum from my ears down. And then for me in the front part, because where I am, it's very cold. So we get a lot of freezer burn in this area of our hair. And then I will put a cotton t-shirt on my head to squeeze out the rest of the moisture. And then I'll add my styling product if I do use styling product. But I tend to not use styling product, primarily because I have finer wavy hair. So a lot of products can tend to be a little bit heavier for me on my hair.
So what kinds of serums you recommend?
I recommend, in my place, I actually have a variety of serums. Most of them are all really, really great serums. It's just a matter of finding what's good for you. But if you find one that you find too heavy, try using less. Less is more. I find a lot of times with serums is people put too much on, and that's why their hair gets heavy, or they're using it incorrectly. Now, I've used heavy oils and very, very light oils, and I just change the amount that I'm using and how I'm using it when I have those oils. I actually, on my in my own bathroom, I have a perfume tray, and I actually have a serum tray or a hair oil tray, because I'd like to change the scent of my oils. And I have some oils that have more nutrients in it, and I have some oils that are more anti-frizz or anti-humectant. So it depends on what I'm doing. And I really like the anti-humectant ones, especially when we're in more of a humid climate. And then I do like the heavier ones with more nutrients during drier seasons, or if I'm coming back on a trip from being someplace high moisture to where we are, which is incredibly dry, that's when I'll use that.
Oh, I want that tray. I want that tray in your bathroom. I want the same one in my bathroom too. And,
I'll have to
do you have a place where we can go and see, like order it or something?
You know what? I will put together something for you guys with what I do, and I'll recommend how.
Because I want that.
Yes. Yeah. I could put together a little.
Like a set of with all the kinds, because as you said, depending on where you are and what's the weather and what is your purpose of today. And I like the idea how you put like essential oils in them, like the fragrance. Yeah. Because also, like, I would also like to change fragrance every day. One day I need to calm down with, I'll use lavender, and then someday I'm like more fishes or more like, that would be really a good idea. I love this idea a lot.
Yeah.
And one question also, what about hair glossing? What is hair glossing, and why people asking to do it? And people think that it is very safe on the hair. So is it safe, or you tell me?
Yes, absolutely. I do glossing. It's same toner, gloss, demi. It's all essentially the same thing. It's essentially what you're putting on is almost like a clear coat of nail polish onto your hair to protect it. I often use this for a lot of my fine hair clients because the product that I use, I'm not in product endorsement, but I will endorse this product because I used to be an educator for them. I've left them, and I always come back to them because I have found a significant difference in using the Matrix Color Sync demi to do work as a gloss, because it adds high shine. When you look at the bowl, there's actually a lot of glitter in it, and there's a lot of moisturizing into it, and it's very, very nurturing to the hair. And so I often use that as a gloss treatment, and it does have a clear gloss, so you're not compromising, you're changing the color. Or I could do it where I'm not changing the pigment of the hair, but I'm changing the tone of the hair. For myself, I'll use a clear toner with an ash additive in it, because with my hair is virgin, but in the sun it does turn brassy. So I'll use it just to neutralize it and also to put it almost like a clear coat of nail polish on my hair to protect it. It makes it a lot smoother and more manageable. It gives a body. And I find with my finer hair clients, it almost puts a small deposit onto the hair to make it just feel just that much a little bit thicker for them. And especially with the clients that I coach that come every 6 to 8 weeks, we're just doing a camouflage with the gloss or the toner. Tomato.
Nice. And I would like this link too. I want to see this product too, because I have one of my clients, and she's 21, and she's asking me about her glossing. And I don't want to, as a trichologist, I don't like all the chemicals, and I don't have a lot of knowledge in products, in styling products. I
Yeah.
can grow your hair, but I don't know how to style it.
Yeah, well,
Right?
usually a gloss is a deposit. When you're coloring hair and using a permanent or anything more stringent, like or bleaching or permanent color, you're compromising the cuticle, you're compromising the bond of the hair. But when you're doing a gloss or a demi glaze, you're just essentially putting a deposit on the hair and coating that hair. And it's nice. There's some demi glazes I'm not a fan of, but your stylist will know. And if you're going to do it, I'd recommend doing it through a professional, primarily because I don't know the over-the-counter products and you don't know what's in there. And especially if there's a chemical that when you do want to lighten your hair or change the color, you could run into issues as well, which I have seen. But if you do have a stylist and you have a good one that you could put on a plan to cover them every month. And I know some people are like, well, my stylist charges $200 for an all over demi or a gloss month. I know a lot that will do it for 45 or 60, and it's just an added on service to finish off the hair. So it's just a matter of shopping or working out with your stylist to make it a regular deal that you're coming in every 8 weeks for the service with your haircut.
Oh, that's very nice. I like that. I like that. See, so basically, as a trichologist and a cosmetologist together, when people ask you about products like brands, basically, all these fancy brands, we know all about it, like Caristas or like all Paul Mitchell or these big brands. What will your answer be as a cosmetologist and a trichologist with like giving them products that will not make them lose their hair?
Yeah. First off, when you're looking for products for your hair, and especially when it comes to hair loss, you want to make sure you're using a quality product. A lot of the over-counter ones, I know they're cheap because they're more affordable and they promise the moon and back, but doesn't always mean they're going to deliver. I find when you invest into more of a quality product, you're getting a higher quality. It's going to be more concentrated and it's going to go a lot further. For example, myself, if I use over the counter, I'll go through 2 bottles of conditioner and a shampoo in 1 month. And that runs me about $18 to $22, depending on the brand that I use over the counter. But if I invest into a high quality, salon quality one that is made for my hair, it's gonna be more concentrated and it's gonna stretch a lot further. And I could get it to stretch for about 3 months. So by the time you add up what you pay per month versus what you pay for the 3 months, you're saving money. And and your hair will thank you for it because you're using the product for you and what you need. And there you can find a lot of good salon quality products on sale. I know for my clients, I make sure to have them watch around duo seasons, like we call them here where I am at, where in the fall and September and around Christmas, a lot of the big companies will do liter sales. And usually a liter sale will last you 6 months. So if you're investing in the liters every duo sale and get yourself on a schedule, you're rock and roll. Plus also too, there's a lot of videos on TikTok on the importance of using a salon quality product for color too. There's one video I was trying to find it while we were waiting where the stylists use salon quality shampoos and conditioners and a few different over the counter where she put color onto a color swatch and put a swatch of each of them into dishes, and it showed how it compromised the color of the hair. So you can look up a lot of those TikTok videos, and it doesn't mean brand, it's just knowing the quality product and what you're getting. And then when it comes to making your own shampoos and conditioners, well, thing is, same with taking supplements. If you don't know what you're adding to your hair, you can cause more issues like we talked about early with doing an egg wash or the mayonnaise. If you're putting too much protein in your hair when you don't need it, you're adding that into your homemade shampoos, be cautious of that. And then when it comes to my favorite products for salon products, I have a bunch that I like. I don't have favorite brands. I am an Aveda alumni, so I did train at Aveda for many years. So I usually tend to go for more the natural and high essential oil products. But I have been moving more since Aveda has been since sold once. I was there when Horst Reckobecker took it. And so I make sure I haven't really used his products since until he launched his new brand, which I absolutely love just because I don't like how the company that took over Aveda, where it has gone. But that's my personal opinion. And then Another thing I do is I study and look up products and where it's sold. I know Australia is very strict on what they sell and what
Yeah.
they're allowed to offer. So for me, in my house, if it's not sold in Australia, it's not allowed in my house.
Nice. I like that.
So
I
that's
like
kind of
that.
my golden rule, whatever you want to follow. So yeah, that would be my best recommendation. And I've worked with many brands. I was an educator for Matrix, Davinus, Aveda, Tressa, a whole bunch of them, and they have make a great product. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So basically, if any person will ask you for a product in a way that look at the ingredients, research it, and see, ask a person who knows if that's going to fit your needs or not in a way. And as a trichologist myself, I like to go away from all these big brands. It's just because I'm not sure about like how toxic or like the preservatives they use or anything. I go to the most like basic healthiest way, but also of course these most basic healthiest shampoos and conditioners, they are not necessarily like make your style your hair properly.
Yeah,
They will just do the job, clean your hair, but it maybe it's gonna make them drier, or maybe it's gonna not give you the style that you need. So in a way, it's good to have this balance between a kind of the healthier product, and at the same time, it it like serve what your hair needs. So what somewhere in between, that will be the sweet spot balance, right?
yeah. And I also just like to remind you to just because it's natural doesn't mean it's always good.
Right.
Our
And it's
skin is
organic, it doesn't mean that's
natural.
good.
Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yes.
Just like
It's the
our
fancy words they use.
right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
understanding that. Then as well with product using natural stuff as well. I know a lot of people are scared of parabens, or
yes,
they have all these big fancy words.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
do the research on the ingredients that are in there, especially when they're saying
Mhm.
it's sulfate-free, paraben-free, and then they have the replacement ingredient. There's one
Right.
ingredient I'm not going to say because I'll get in trouble, but there is one particular ingredient that people are really pushing, and it's carcinogenic. So it's really understanding those products and doing your research.
Yep.
And a lot of
Yeah.
things will have a chemical reaction. For
Yes.
example, formaldehyde, they used to have chemical straighteners that were formaldehyde free or low formaldehyde, but as soon as they put 450 degrees on, it turned to 11.7% formaldehyde. So we forget about these chemical reactions that happen
Right.
that create
Right.
stuff. So
And it is what it's a marketing stunt that I was like, this is bourbon free, that makes you feel that you're choosing a brand that is healthy or good, or but the replacement of bourbon, maybe it would be even worse.
right.
So that's marketing stunts too. Be aware of that. Before we move on with my questions, Gary, there is a question from our audience. One of the questions says, "Can constipation cause inflammation?" Yes, that is for sure, because when you don't detoxify your body properly each and every single day, when you eat, you should detoxify. Period. And if that is not the case, then of course your body will be overwhelmed. All these toxins will stay into in your large intestine. It will be reabsorbed to your bloodstream, causing you not only inflammation, causing you maybe even allergic reactions, or maybe IBS problems. It's like causing you all kind of problems. The first problem that it will cause you, it's inflammation. And when you do have a systemic inflammation in your body, yes, it will come to your scalp. And actually, as a trichologist, when we do a scalp analysis, we actually can see the inflammation on your scalp right away. And this is our sign when we say, you do have some kind of inflammation. And this is where our job to go back and see what is the what's causing your inflammation. And when we figure out what's causing your inflammation, we will work with your body to get rid of that inflammation. But going to the second question, that will be for my friend Carrie. What essential oil reduces scalp inflammation as a topical treatment, not as internal treatment?
Topical. Honestly, when it comes to inflammation, I always look at the gut first. I'm always leery about putting things onto the scalp, especially when there's inflammation involved, because I don't want to cause a trigger effect as well. Typically, I'll contact Basan or
Yes.
surgeon. I would be like, what would you use to prevent this for myself. And everybody's different. It's not a one size fits all world. But I know for myself, when I have inflammation from a celiac attack and I just want some uh, ease or calming, then I might add I very diluted with a carrier oil of one of my specific hair carrier oils I might use, and add usually I'll add menthol, just a small amount, just to soothe my scalp from the inflammation. But that's for me, and I already know that works for me. If you have inflammation, it is a tricky one. You want to see where the inflammation's coming from, because sometimes it's as simple as something causing inflammation, like a stress trigger, or something you ate, your body consumed. There's a whole bunch of causes for that inflammation. So if that's the case, Bisan is your go-to person for inflammation education.
Yeah, first of all, I like Carrie was saying, first of all, you see the cause of inflammation, and most likely it's in your gut. It's in your gut, it's toxins. And of course, if you said the constipation is going to cause a lot of problems. When you address these problems, I would say, like, just to, if you want to soothe the, like, if it's like burning, if you have a burning sensation or itchy sensation, to soothe it, you can use calendula oil. Maybe what do you think about chamomile oil, essential oil with a carrier oil, as you said?
Because I use chamomile as well on mine.
Right. Because essential oils, be careful, as Carrie said, essential oils cannot be used directly on the scalp. They need a carrier oil. Do not use essential oils directly on your scalp. It may burn the scalp. So you put like kind of couple of essential oil drops in your carrier oil. Carrier oil can be jojoba oil, jojoba oil, because it's like kind of smoother. Castor oil is great as a carrier oil. However, castor oil is very thick. Like, so it's really hard to kind of work around it. You can use
if you don't use it correctly too, and you're using it too much, you can cause other issues like CERB derm, especially when it's not being clarified and stuff. So that's when Sergio talks about all the time, is being cautious of how you use your carrier oils and when you're using, and talk to somebody who knows what they're doing. Because I find that a lot of people, when they use oils, they'll use it too much without giving it a break. And that's with anything. I actually just learned about somebody who used polysporin without cleaning or giving the skin time to air breathe, caused flesh eating in their or bacteria, and it's because they didn't give their skin time to breathe and for a chance. So
to dry up and everything. Oh wow, that's a very, very, very good point. Yes. A lot of people use coconut oil. It's like they're crazy about coconut oil. What do you think?
No. Well, first off, there's coconut oil that you get at Costco, the big tub.
Yeah, the big tub from Costco.
Yeah, the molecule of that is too heavy to penetrate the cuticle of the hair. If you are going to use a coconut oil that you are going to get benefits from, use the liquid form. But I do find that, again, just like castor oil or any oil, if you use it too much and don't give your body a break or use it correctly, you could cause long-term effects as well. I myself, when I'm in a pinch, I even use olive oil on the ends of my hair if I don't have oil and I need to moisturize my ends, or I might use that coconut oil, but I don't use it on a regular basis. I make products that are formulated and designed specifically for my needs, just because I don't want to cause any other issues.
And just before we move on to different subject, I want to tell our friend here, if you have constipation, drink olive oil on empty stomach in the morning, extra virgin olive oil. That's gonna kind of loosen up your constipation and cleansing up all the intestines, because the mucus of the olive oil will just grab all the toxins on the villi of your intestine, and you'll get rid of that. And also, olive oil is actually very good for your skin and for your hair and for everything. So that will be my little bit of piece of an advice. So moving to another topic before the time runs out, Carrie. So basically, when clients come to you with a lot of, like we said about the breakage and everything, rosemary oil works very well for me. I learned it from William Gannas. Yes, rosemary oil is actually the essential oil of rosemary oil. You put it with a carrier oil again, and it's actually a stimulant. It's a hair stimulant. And Carrie, in some cultures, I learned recently that they use it to treat gray hair.
I've heard of that too.
So I didn't see any studies about gray hair, but I know rosemary oil is a very good stimulant. But please use it with caution. Put it with carrier oil, and you're good to go.
Yeah. And by the way, William Gunnett is a dear friend of ours. So yes, listen to his stuff.
Yeah,
He knows
whatever
what
he
he's
says.
talking about. Yeah, he's been a guest on here before, and we will have him again. But yes, we adore him here, and yes, he's great advice.
Of course. We all studied together, and we were all in the same school, and we worked together for a long time. So we're on the same boat all together. My next question for you, Carrie, when a lady comes to you with that much frizziness and breakage, and I remember you showed me one time a video how you cut something, the split ends, but the split ends is not always in the ends of the hair. Sometimes they are here. So for this particular lady that we showed the beginning of the show, do you think she will benefit from cutting these, wherever you call it? I don't know what you call it.
Yes,
The
the
split ends
split
from
ends
here.
or the dry hair. Absolutely. Now, when it comes to doing a service like that, before I even go near the hair, I am going to do a moisturizing treatment and a mask, because a lot of times when the hair is too dry and too brittle, it will mimic like it is being compromised, um, and that it looks like it needs to be cut out, because just visually it'll look more chemically damaged or broken. So moisturizing it will help me really understand if it's just dry or if it is actually broken and brittle. Now, when it comes to people growing their hair too, I have a lot of people who I specialize in growing long hair, and I have a lot of people, I don't want to cut my hair, because
Yes.
it's not going to grow.
Yes.
Your hair will grow, but it won't grow from thick to end. And the reason is because when you have split ends in your hair, and a lot of people are like, I don't have split ends. No, we all have split ends, and it's buried into the hair. And just because you don't see it on the ends doesn't mean that it's under a microscope in the cuticle. Now, what happens is with the hair, when it grows thick, 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 thick. And then eventually the cuticles start to wear down, making the hair thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner on the ends. And so that's why it's important to cut the ends to make it thick and grow thick from root to end, versus from root to kind of fizzling and kind of becoming more narrow in depth. So that's why it's important to cut your hair. And as well, split ends, you have to cut the split ends out. Split ends spread like glitter. We've had glitter in your house. I know if you've had a Christmas present with glitter and you just look and you're like, oh shoot, there's gonna be glitter all over your house for days. Same, if I see a split end, that's how I feel. They spread. What happens is with the split end, and what they do is if they get caught on each other, they get stuck and they pull and they cause more breakage and more split end. And oftentimes when we brush our hair, I find a lot of people don't brush their hair correctly, where they'll go and take their hair and reef on their hair, or not use the correct tools, or they'll brush their hair incorrectly in the shower without a conditioner, causing it to snap and break. Now, your hair, when it's wet, it has more elasticity. So what I want you to do an experiment here. I want you guys to each pull a strand of hair from your scalp while it's dry and pull it and see how much it stretches. Then when you're in the shower, I want you to take a piece of hair and do the same thing. I want you to notice how more stretchy the hair is. So when you're brushing it while it's wet, and especially not correctly, and there is a way to brush it correctly wet. But if you're not brushing it correctly, what you're doing is you're stretching the hair, causing it to eventually snap and break, causing more split ends. And especially for my long hair beauties who put their hair back wet, the thing is the hair is more stretchy when it's wet, and you tie it in a ponytail. Eventually it's going to dry and shrink to its natural, to the length that it is when it's dry. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
So you're going to get more breakage in there. So you got to be very cautious of that. When it comes to growing your hair long. Now, with me, I'm not one of those stylists that come every 8 weeks, 10 weeks. All my clients are different. And based on our seasons too, I know some clients' hair grow more in the summer, or those that vacation all the time in the hot sun and getting outside, getting a lot more exercise, their hair grows a lot faster. I know for me, my hair in the summer and when we go on holidays, my hair grows like crazy. But when I'm home in the winter and hiding in my basement, my hair's not growing. It's slow moving, but it is dry, so I want to make sure I nurture it. So for me, I might get my hair cut more often during those times versus in the winter. So for my rule of thumb with a lot of people with long hair, if you put your hand through your hair after you've been brushed and it's still good on the third time, chances are your hair is in good condition. But if you find after the third, fourth, fifth time you put your hand through, it's starting to get tangled, and you haven't been in a windstorm, chances are you have split ends that are forking together and you want to get those cut out. Now, you could go to the stylist and you could dust the ends, but the thing is, if you dust the ends and you don't cut the split end out, so if I cut that, the split is still in there. You need to cut it above the split for it to not split further.
Right.
And for those who think that a dry cut or a dusting is not a haircut, don't cheat out your hairdresser, you guys. It's a haircut. It's the same amount of time to wash, cut, and blow dry, whether you take an inch or 10 inches. It's the same. There's no such thing as just a dusting cut. And you can't complain that you're getting a dusting cut because that's inconsiderate for your stylist. And I'm going to put my foot down with that one. And then when it comes to doing more of a treatment cut, you guys, that's when you want to make sure that you're coming. I do a treatment haircut on my clients once or twice a year. And so with my clients, when they do come regularly, and a good stylist, you might have you on a routine where you're coming every time. I charge by time and length it takes me to cut the client's hair. So if I know, Basan, you're coming in, you're a medium length, you're about $55, but say somebody with my length will be $85. I do it based on the time it takes me to dry, cut, and the amount of product I'm using. But when I know somebody's coming in on routine, when I tell them, I'm going to give them a break.
Yes.
Because I'm working with you.
Yes.
So, and a lot of stylists, I know many stylists who do offer that once you create that regular routine with your as a regular. Now, when it comes to the treatment haircut, I call it an SOS treatment, where I will go with the long hair client and I'll flat iron the hair and then section by section in 4 quadrants. A quarter of an inch, I'll do quarter of an inch, quarter of an inch, quarter of an inch, all the way up to the scalp, where I'll take the hair flat iron, and when I'm combing it, I will flat iron it and then I'll cut it dry, bend the hair, and I'll take my scissors and shave all those little split ends out so I could get the little split ends into the hair. And I do that for clients. For myself, for someone who doesn't do as much treatment to their hair, I might do it once a year or once every 9 months, or sorry, year and a half. But the clients that color their hair, use hot tools, who are traveling all the time in different environments, I might do it once or twice a year, depending on the client. But every client is different. It's not a one-size-fits-all world. And when you have a really good stylist, you can figure out that routine for you.
Okay. We have another question before we go to my last question for you. I'm 18 years old, a male. William actually helped me to learn about inflammation and low vitamin D after applying my hair, or applying something on his hair, started to grow magically. I love your show as well. Thank you so much. Yes, as we said, William Gannett is our friend, and we work together most of the time, and we did a lot of conferences together. And I know that William has a product that works with inflammation, and of course, coming to your vitamin D, if you don't have a sufficient vitamin D, it has to be more than 70 nanograms per deciliter. If it's less than 70, your Western doctor is going to tell you you're good. But for hair purposes, it has to be more than 70. So yes, with inflammation, I love William's product for inflammation. He has, I think, specific product for that. And supplementing with vitamin D if you need it, that is great. And that's exactly how to grow your hair. That is correct, because basically what William did is addressing your root cause, which is inflammation, and make sure that you are sufficient in vitamin D, and voila.
Great. Now, I'm going to talk about that with working with William or ourselves with trichologists. So when we talk about blood work, when you go get your blood work here, particularly in North America, it's a general. So it doesn't matter if you're male, female, 10, 20, or 100. It's a general number for the general public. But when you break it down and you have specialists in the area, they can read blood based on that specific demographic. So break it down to the age, break it down to the need. And as trichologists, we are trained to read that blood for whether you're male, female, or your age demographic, or what you need and what's going on. And as a trichologist, we are trained to help produce more hair and grow hair. So we are trained to look for that. So the numbers, what you'll see in general practice, will be a little bit different from what we see as trichologists. Okay. So that's why when you go to a trichologist, they're tailoring it to you. It's not a one-size-fits-all world. And when you have people trained like William or Sergio or Basan or I, we are trained to see that specifically for you and what you need.
For your hair, like brilliant. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to ask you this, our last question, and I wanted to ask you since long time. So we talked about dry hair and dry skin and everything. And in short, Carrie, in short, we have like a couple minutes. What do we do for extra oily hair?
Extra oily hair. Well, first off, it depends on looking internally if you're stressed and what type of stress is causing that oily hair, and if you're hydrated. First thing I'll look at when I have someone coming in with oily hair, I'll be if they're going through hormonal issues or hormonal changes such as puberty or menopause. I'll ask if there's stress going on, or I'll also ask what color their urine is, because hydration plays a huge factor on the oil production in your hair. And then I'll get them on a protocol to correct that. And then in the meantime, I'll use a short term with helping them clarify the hair, moisturize the hair, and oftentimes using a moisturizer on oily hair, it's helping to balance. And usually when you're producing too much oil, your body knows that it's dehydrated, so it's overcompensating for that oil. And that's why when you put the correct conditioner on it to balance it out, you're neutralizing it. So
Awesome. Awesome. It's just, I think today we picked the perfect topic for my friend Carrie, because these questions we get asked a lot, and we need an experienced cosmetologist who has a background in trichology to answer it. Because I think just randomly pick up a product from everywhere is just not the greatest idea. And who's better than asking my friend Carrie about these products? So I am so happy that we did this questions today, and I hope you guys all enjoy our show. Do you have any last words, Carrie, for our audience?
No, you guys, we're always looking for input on what you guys are looking for and what information that you need. On our website, we are revamping our website. There is a lot of new things, but we do have on the tab in the menu bar that says Ask the Expert. So if you have ideas, or maybe on here you want to comment, or if you want to be discreet, go to the website, or if you're okay having your information on there, leave us some questions on what we can answer for you online. And and if you want to have something asked in real time too, make sure to check in every Wednesday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are, and you could ask your questions in real time.
Yep. So please, if you enjoy this show, please subscribe and hit the like button. That will help us tremendously. And every week, every Wednesday, we will be meeting here online, live on our Facebook pages and on YouTube to answer all your questions. Just say thehairwire.com or just search for us and we will pop up. And we'll see you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.